This is Sessions with Coach. I'm your flight instructor, Coach Gaines. Thanks for tuning in for streaming thoughts of consciousness from the mind and the experience of Coach. This particular session, I want to bring a quote, and I think I coined this quote. I'm not sure if I heard it somewhere before, but I'm gonna go ahead and take credit for it. Your ignorance, your fault. And it sounds a bit shrewd and it sounds a bit condescending, but it's really a motivational tool. And the more I think about that comment or that quote or that statement, the more I look back on my own upbringing and my own education. And I say to myself that what was my life? And my dad used to always say to me that this is the education of Isaiah Gaines. And whenever we went somewhere, whenever we did something, regardless of what I got from it or what happened, he always reinforced the fact that that was a part of my education. And to this day, I'm older, I have children of my own. My dad is still with me, and I may call him and talk to him about something, and he might, say this is a part of your continued education. Or I might say, this the education right here. That's the education part, ain't it? And he might agree with me. So that put me into that space. And I started thinking about my education. I started looking at my schooling, and I started looking at my street education. And I started looking at my self-education, my mentors, my friends. And throughout all of that, everyone agrees that knowledge is power, knowledge is king. Everyone is seeking to assert themselves as being the go-to reference, the fact check, starts with you or whatever. You want to be the knowledgeable person in the room. And usually to be considered ignorant or to be considered, not intelligent is very dispraiseworthy. But in most cases, we're coming to the situations that we're in ignorant and we're learning as we go along. So it puts me in a struggle between two places. I want to have dignity and I want to say, yeah, I have knowledge. I'm knowledgeable. I'm an intellectual. I have intellect. But then I have to submit to everything that I don't have knowledge of or everything I don't know how to do. And that subjects you to certain things or certain people or certain institutions that you have to go ahead and extract that information from to create the knowledge that you need from it. And I said it like that for a reason. But I'm not going to get too deep into the knowledge versus information conversation, but there is a difference between the two. So I've considered myself a knowledge seeker in my lifestyle. At home, going to school, I've always been attracted to information. I've always been attracted to knowledge. I've always, enjoyed knowledgeable people. And I've trusted, this is an important word right here. I trusted the people that were older than me or those who may have crossed certain thresholds before I did to inform me as they learn, what they didn't want or didn't know or things that didn't happen for them. You would expect them to say, yeah, look, that was the banana pill that I slipped up on, try to do it like this. And in a lot of cases, it's like that. I can't say that I distrust those people in my life that have offered that information for me, but that's a real delicate and spiritual space. What you give up and letting somebody, educate you or inform you. You're giving up some sovereignty. You're giving up some leverage that you probably had already. And now you have to be able to receive something from somebody who's giving you some information. So it's humbling. To learn is to constantly humble you. To learn is to constantly bring you down a notch. Because now you need questions. And now in order for a person to answer your questions, he has to trust you and have some mercy and some respect for you in order for them to sit down, slow down, and ask you those questions, answer those questions. And that's the point that I'm getting to right now. And your ignorance, your fault. And it is upon every individual to learn what they need to learn for what it is that they're doing. I'll say it again. It is upon every individual to learn what they need to learn to do what they need to do as an individual. And that looks different in everybody's case. But as a community, we have a monolithic approach to what we want to do, or what we should do, or how you do things. And people always look to the left and to the right and saying, okay, whatever they're doing, that's what I should be doing, or I can do that better, or I can do that too. But a lot of things should be more driven off of your interest, not necessarily the opportunistic, approach to what what you want to, what your profession is and what you want to do. Now, sometimes things change. You have to make adjustments. You have to be, creative and agile, and you have to be able to navigate and adapt. That's true. But you're constantly seeking knowledge. You're constantly learning what you need to learn, and it's no one else's responsibility to teach something to you. They say you could teach a person, you can give a person fish, but you can, I can give you fish, but it's better for me to show you how to fish. That's the proverb. I'm not saying it in the right wording. But I can teach you how to fish, or I can give you the fish. So it's always better to learn how to do the fishing yourself, so you'll always be able to feed yourself. So the goal is independence. And that's what knowledge gives you. Independence and control over yourself and what you're responsible for. And I think that that's very profound, because how are we going after things, and why are we going after things? Our needs, where we live, how we do things. All of this is centered around that rudimentary point of what you do. And so for me, I just been thinking about the education, and I've been thinking about the responsibility on everyone to be educated. And the way that we educate ourselves, it's not each one teach one. It's a very arrogant, very, crass approach to one another. We're using the fact that everyone doesn't know something, and then we're superimposing what we do know on each other in some sort of either get down or lay down kind of way, or catch up. If I ain't got time to tell you. But then on the other end, everyone kind of needs to be at a certain level so that we're not relying on one individual to do all of the fishing, or two individuals to do all of the fishing. It's a communal village that knows how to bring in the fish and get the fish filleted and get everything done, and whatever needs to happen, whatever boats and tools need to get built around that. It's community, it's village. But that takes knowledge, and that takes interest. Somebody has to want to do what they do in order for someone else to build around that. So whatever you need to do in your interest, you have to have knowledge about what makes that work, from the top to the bottom. From the top to the bottom, whatever that is. And I think we get caught in certain chambers of what we like to do, certain compartments of what we like to do. And then we get stuck there. And then the other components that's needed, we don't have enough information about that. It's slightly out of our grasp. So now we have to lend ourselves to other people or other things that may not have our best interest, or may not have the same passion or something to gain or lose off of your vision. So now there's this space of, oh man, you should support just because. Why? Nobody should support just because. Businesses should provide the necessary services and products, and they should have the proper outreach and marketing to get at their consumer, to get at their customer. And that's not a friend, family, emotional thing all the time. Maybe at first for the grand opening, but then what is the continuum of the business? How are you providing a need in people's lives? Or, what is your skill set doing to support and sustain yourself? So the knowledge needed from the top to the bottom, what you do, what the boss is supposed to be doing, just because you're not a boss don't mean you're not supposed to have knowledge of the boss's job, because you have to have some understanding. And just because you a boss, it don't mean that you don't have to know all of the intricate details and works of the employee, so that one day you may have to stand in and fill in a slot or do a thing or two. You own a burger spot, but sometimes you got to get in there and flip a burger or two. So everybody's educating themselves. And when one level of education becomes more important than another level of education, now you get this power struggle in people's, teaching one another, because each one must teach one. But if what I know is in spite of you, and if what you're doing is in slight of me, but we're really designed to do this together in proximity, we restrict the provisions upon ourselves. Allah didn't restrict that. So that's something that we have to critically think about as communal thought. It's a community effort to open up a business or to have some sort of nonprofit, or to have some sort of, a collaborative effort. It takes community to think about it, to support it, to house it, to allow room for it. It's community. So everybody has to know what their particular communal space requires of them, in knowledge, and sacrifice, and dedication. So that's just some advice I'm giving myself, because it's no one's fault what I don't know. And it's frustrating to not know. It's frustrating. But the more you know, the less you have to trust. You see? It's just like reading. I was talking to my man the other day. He was like, man, you got to get the Arabic, man. You can't keep having everybody translate for you. And he's right. And I have my perspective on that. But I'm going to agree with him right now and say, yeah, everything can't be translated to you. You have to have some ability to decode and have some etymology and have some definition and have some understanding, so you know what you're reading, what's being translated to you. What was the intent behind the person that delivered the message? That's all you need to know. So in that, I'm saying, yes, I need to learn something else so that I'm not so codependent on people for the things I need to operate every day. If I need Arabic to operate every day, then I need to be learning Arabic. The very minimum. If I'm working with finance every day, I need to learn finance. And that's a language. Finance is a language. It's like learning another language. You can either choose to learn it and receive that message, or choose not to learn it. It's up to you, just like language. So it's on you to learn that. If you want to come outside and order a pizza in Arabic, you gotta learn something. You want to catch a taxi cab from the airport in Arabic or in English, and you coming from somewhere else, that's on you. It's not, you can't be mad at somebody for not reading something to you or doing something for you. But at least I need to be pointed, I expect to be pointed in the right directions with the people that I love and trust. And that's why it's so important that your mentors are honest and trustworthy people, period. And they're mentoring you based off of not looking for too much in return. So you got to find those people, because they're special and they're rare. Because everyone is charging something in return for that information, which may or may not be knowledge for you, but you got to give up something for the information first. And it's on you, and you're responsible for it. And if it's available and there's a gateway, that's on you. There's nothing to complain about. No one owes you that. Don't bring that into your world. Don't give out that energy, that expectation energy. That y'all ain't, what's up? You supposed to let us know? I thought we was crew. It's like, that's relative to everyone else's inside their own mind, what that is and how much they want to extend into that. And the motivation behind that is different for everyone. It's like, you need to build a system of learning that systematically teaches you whatever it is that you do or are interested in, especially if it's what you have to do on your day to day, especially. You need to know the pros, you know the cons, and you got to weigh them. And that's what you expect your mentors to do. Help you weigh those pros and cons. But they can't pull the trigger for you. They can't make the decision for you. They can't sign a name on a dotted line for you. And that's why you need as much knowledge and information of everything you possibly can before you engage. And no matter how long it takes, it's an urgency, but give yourself the time. Less screen time or more screen time. How about that? So this is Sessions with Coach. I'm just I'm just organizing right now. I had a lot of good ideas. We did a lot of great things. The brand is getting ready to launch for fall, winter. And I'm getting more into a engineering space with the business because I haven't been planning. I've been just reacting. So that's what I advise to whoever's listening to take time, take a pause, take a macro view at your life and what you're doing and your interests, and say to yourself, do I have the adequate knowledge and information or people around me to give me what I need to get through my day to day independently, so that I can foster my mind to think critically about what I do every day and what it is that I'm striving for. So, Sessions with Coach. This is your flight instructor. Peace.